So this is the last. Okay, are we streaming now? Are we ready? Yes. So this, let me share first. What? Oh. Okay, so this is the last stream for the day. Well, as long as I have time and energy, I should probably. There we go. LinkedIn and Twitter. There we go. There we go. Okay, so what are we going to do today? Well, the entire day I've been working on Python, and that's what we are going to continue doing. So I'm going to skip a couple of, oh wait a minute. There we go. I'm going to skip some of the videos on the next section. This is section 5. It's called Developer Environment, which implies that this is the time where we learn how to install actual Python on the computer. So far, I've been using this Replit website to write the coded samples and exercises and doing experiments here a little bit. But other than that, we are not using, how do you call it? We are not using anything else, basically. We are not running Python locally. And I guess that the teacher decided this way because maybe he was more concerned about getting into the programming language into the formal programming language, rather than spending this entire time just installing Python. So a lot of people would left the course by now if this was the first or second section. So far we had dwelled deep into Python basics, Python introduction, Python basics, Python basics 2, which implied that the first section about Python basics was not enough. So, and it's actually true. And now, development environment. I'm going to skip the Python install on the Mac and Windows, and I'm going to get straight to Linux. What? If you are on a Linux distribution, you can follow this guide to install Python. So if there is no video, what? Are you kidding me? On Windows, on Mac, and okay. Fine. So no video then. Let's see if I have Python already. I don't think so. Or maybe I do, I don't know. Okay, no. I have some suggestions here. I'm not going to install. Okay, just checking versions. Okay, oh, maybe this one. Oh, maybe Python 2. No, and there is not actually many suggestions for that one. Python 3. I do have Python 3 installed. That's interesting. Python 3 version. Seems like I already had Python 3. Oh, interesting. Okay. You want to get the latest version. Your current version is okay, 3.8.4. What's my latest version? What's my latest version? 3.10.4. Okay, now I am 3.10.4. So I basically have the last version of Python. Okay. I don't even remember installing that one. Okay. Okay. Okay, maybe I just followed this guy before. Yeah, probably I already have it. Okay. Uh-huh. Well, the thing is that I already had Python then. I wonder if I can just type Python. No. But I can say Python 3. There we go. Print. Hello. There we go. Control D. Okay, so I already had Python installed. So I guess I can even skip that one. I think so. This is our, if I see apt get instructions here, I'm going to assume that this tutorial is really old. Let's see how old is it. I don't see the date. 2020 something. No. 2090 something. No. 20 something. Which one is the? No. Okay, yeah. 4 years ago. Oh, come on. Yeah, never mind. This is not a good tutorial anymore. So I guess this course is at least 4 years ago old. I'm surprised that I find this relevant though. Okay. There's a video here, Python developer tools.
Remember this slide? I told you that we're going to wait until we set up our developer environment. And up until now, we've been using a browser to run our Python code. But we want to be professional developers. And professional developers use professional tools. In our case, these are the main ones in the Python community right now. We have the terminal or command prompt, if you're on Windows, to run quick Python scripts. And we've seen this before. I can go into my terminal, type in Python or Python 3, make sure that we have that version. And then in here, I can just write any Python script that I want. I enter it and I just run these simple scripts and I can just exit like this. This is used for just quick testing, but most of the time you're not going to see professional programmers use this method very often. Instead, most of the time we use something like code editors or IDEs. Now, nothing's preventing me from writing Python code in, let's say, a Word document, a Google Docs, or a text file. But the problem with that is that, well, it just looks like text. And when you make a spelling error, when you write improper syntax where it's not Python code, if I just write it in a Word document, it's not going to tell me any information. A professional developer needs some extra tools that code editors and IDEs provide that help us be more efficient with our code. And we're going to be exploring that over the next couple of videos. But what is a code editor and an IDE, and what's the difference? We're actually going to show you how each of these work, but a simple rule is that code editors are lightweight. They give you some really nice features like auto-completion, linting, which we're going to talk about, while IDEs are full-fledged environments. That is, they provide a ton
it's
of
a bigger commitment
in order for us to just write really good code. Because of that, they tend to be bigger. You have to download a large file size, but they come with a lot of things like auto-completion, debugging, code formatting, unit testing, code snippets, so on and so forth, versus code editors where you have to just install bits and pieces and kind of create your own environment. But enough talk, let's actually install some of these. And don't worry, at the end, we'll also introduce you to this idea of a Jupyter notebook, which is one of my favorites.
Okay. I wonder if Sublime Text is going to be
Let's install some
required.
developer tools. First one, and personally, this is my favorite code editor. It's Sublime Text. You can download it based on whatever operating system you have.
Coming video. Heads up, the next video is from my other course, the Complete Web Developer Zero to Mastery. Terminal command. Okay. Terminal commands. Okay, let's just do a quick overview.
A big part of being a developer is being able to use the terminal or the command. So let's get started. The first command I'm going to show you is the ls command. I simply type in and press enter. I can also do clear to clear out my terminal. Now, if I just put this to the side over here so you can see the HTML. There you go, index.html.
Okay.
Now, what if we wanted to open this index.html? Again, we just do open, and the dot means we open the folder we're currently in, which is here. But if I do open index.html, it opens the file for us. But index.html is pretty empty right now. But it just moves the index.html file to about.remove, and the name of the file, about.
Remove.
To our desktop, and then do
bring working directory.
Now on, try creating
nothing
files
new.
and folders this way. Eventually, you'll get more and more comfortable.
What's this? Not needed. Using the command line terminal. Okay, I guess.
By the way, remember this exercise that we did? Where we pretended to have a picture that was stored on our computer, and we had to create this script to read through our data and add a space or a blank if there's a 0, and if there's a 1 to add a star, which gave us a little Christmas tree. And although we've been using the REPL up until now, at the end of the day, all Python code, whether you're writing Python for games, whether you're writing Python for scripts to read your Excel spreadsheets, Or maybe you're using Python to do some machine learning. At the end of the day, all we're doing is, well, we're writing a program, and then this program gets run by a machine. Something like this.
Okay.
Here I have a 1.py file that I've just created. And in here, as you can see, we have our script that we had in our REPL. But I've just created it on my computer. It's 1.py. I can name it whatever I want.
Yeah.
It's usually a way a program runs. Again, any type of Python program, any type of programming language. We can use something like our terminal. If you're on a Mac, you can use the terminal. Or if you have a Linux-based machine, you can use the terminal as well.
Yeah, sure.
Or if you're on a Windows computer, using the command prompt or the PowerShell. So that here, if I wanted to run the 1.py file, I make sure that my present working directory is where my file exists, which is on my desktop. Remember that on Windows, you'd say directory or dir to find out what your present working directory is. Once you're in the same directory, remember if you're not, you can cd into different locations to get to where the file is. And then we run the file by saying Python. In our case 3, again, based on whatever interpreter you want to use, just say 1.py. And there you go. Our graphical user interface of this is working. And although this is a simple example, that's all code is. Code is being run by machine like this. You just say, hey, run this Python file, multiple files through
and run this.
And the machine is going to do something. We created a Christmas tree generator, so that's what the machine does. The machine can do anything. It can build games and run games. It can do machine learning.
I believe that I already did
simply send emails to your friends.
But not from this course.
And we'll explore those topics in our projects coming up in the course.
Okay, Visual Studio Code, my favorite.
Welcome back. The next code editor we're going to look at is a very, very popular one. Free. So I think right now it's probably the most popular code editor out there in the community, and I think you'll see why. We can download it based on your machine, so you can pick whatever computer you have. In my case, we'll download it for Mac, and it has a really, really good get started guide. Again, all these tools have a lot of information online for them. So again, if you get stuck with downloads, there's always a way for you to figure out how to solve these. Now, keep in mind with code editors, it doesn't just mean these are for Python. Both Sublime Text and Visual Studio Code can write any sort of language, programming language that you want. Like myself, I usually like writing JavaScript as well, so I can go back and forth between different languages, but still use the same tools. So let's open up VS Code. We're going to install this, and again, on Windows, it'll be very similar. You'll go through an installer. In my case, I'll add it to my applications. In my case, it should appear somewhere around here. Click on that.
He's using a Mac.
We have Visual Studio Code. There's a lot more going on than Sublime Text. It's why I actually prefer Sublime Text. There's just less things happening on the screen. But you can see over here that has some really nice features. Yeah. For example, we can create a new file here, and we can just create, let's say, a Python file. So I'm going to Command S and save, and just call it hello.py because we want to create a Python file. You'll see right away when I do that, it's going to tell me, hey, there's no Python interpreter selected. You need to select a Python interpreter. And luckily, we actually learned what that means, right? So let's select a Python interpreter, and look at that. It tells me that I have a choice because we've downloaded version 3.7, but on my Mac, I also have the pre-installed 2.7. So luckily, Visual Studio Code tells me, hey, which one do you want to use? I'm going to say, I want to use Python 3. There you go. And I get another hint. It says, hey, we also have a linter available for Python. Do you want to install that extension as well? We'll get to that in a bit. But for now, let's focus on this. If I do print, hello, getting really creative with my code here. You see that, again, I have syntax highlighting. Everything looks good. If I miss a bracket, what happens? Do I get any errors? What if I just write some gibberish here?
It's not validating anything.
But again, we'll get to linting in a bit. The cool thing about Visual Studio Code is that you also have the terminal right here. You can actually, if this isn't open for you, you can just click terminal and just say new terminal.
New terminal.
Now in here, I'm going to close this for now. I can run my Python code, and let's make sure it's just a print. I can say Python.
Yeah, it's going to run.
Hello.py. If I click run, I didn't save this, so make sure I save it so it's the new version.
Oh, wait. No, yeah.
And run this again. Python hello.py. And look at that.
There we go.
Now, up to this point, we have this print hello. We also know that we're running Python version 3.7. You can see here, if I click on here, I can select what interpreter I want to use.
Okay.
And it also gives us a few tips, such as, hey, linter Pylon is not installed. So let's install Pylon. Pylon is a linter. That is, it's almost as a spell checker for our code, letting us know, is this syntax right? And there are many versions of linters available for Python. Pylon just happens to be one of the most popular. And VS Code, by default, suggests Pylon, so let's install that. Once that's installed, you see over here that everything is going through. And now let's see if this works. So let's save this file. I'm going to say file.
So it's
save.
not.
And if I click on
so it's not being installed directly under the Visual Studio Code software. It's actually being installed using the terminal into the machine itself.
Problems here? There are no problems detected so far, but we know that the print should have brackets around it. So what we want to do here is go to View, Command Palette, and we see right away that it says
enable linting.
If I type Python here, the Python installer that we had at the beginning when we installed VS Code installed a whole bunch of shortcuts and tools for us to use, such as enable linting. So let's click on that, and I'm going to say on. If I save, look at that. In my problems, it says missing parentheses in call to print. Did you mean hello? I also get this little underline, and it tells me exactly, A, what print does, but also tell me what errors I need to fix. And you see that it's a Pylon syntax error. So again, I can just fix that, nice and easy. Now if I save, there's no problems. Everything is running fine. If I go to my terminal and do Python hello.py, look at that. Everything is working nicely. So this problems panel is really nice for your code to be told, hey, something's wrong. For example, if I miss a bracket here and I save, the problems is going to tell me, hey, there's something going on. There's a syntax here, and Pylon is helping solve that issue. By the way, you might be asking yourself, how come my editor VS Code doesn't look like this? For example, if I go to extensions, I have the Dracula official theme enabled now, which is a color theme that I have for Visual Studio Code. And let's click on this over here and just say disable all installed extensions. you'll see that I just have a few extensions that allow my Visual Studio Code to be customized. But in your case, if you're just installing Visual Studio Code, it'll look something like this. But by installing the Python package with the Pylon, we now have a fully abled IDE, in a sense, for us to write Python code. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Okay. Let's try that one, actually. Let's try to install the Pylon, because I don't have it. Let's open this. Here we go. Well, I actually have... okay, let's open extensions. I do have some stuff here. Even Jupyter is here, but I don't know what that is. So let's Pylon from Microsoft. Okay. Let's install it. Because this has no release version. What? I don't get it. Can install release version of Microsoft Pylon extension. So what? Pre-release version? Okay, I guess. And it's telling me something. Is enabled already? I think so, because it's showing me stuff here. Is magician literal false? Missing module docstring. Okay, yeah, I don't have anything. Constant name. Magician doesn't conform to uppercase. Yeah, I guess. So if I change this into uppercase, is that okay? Selection. I wonder if there is a one-click uppercase thing here. Selection. Copy, move, duplicate, cursor, next. Have I had more here? No. Oh, okay, never mind. Let me see, go. Well, I guess I could just do it. Oh, wait. But the thing is, I guess this is not the same anymore. Okay, let's refactor all that. Basically, rename. Wait. But not just one. Every single one. There we go. Copy this. And the linter is working, I guess. I wonder if I can see where it's actually working on. Python 3, Python, end of line sequence, UTF-8, 4 spaces for indentation, my current line, no notifications, okay. Oh, anyway. And save it. Is magician. What? It's telling me something here. Constant is magician, missing module docstring. So I guess I going to need this maybe. Uh-oh. Well, maybe not. It must be a way to change the capitalization of an entire line or phrase or selection. I just don't know how to do it. Capitalize selection. Okay, it's Control P, Enter, Transform, or uppercase. It's Control Shift P. Okay, so Control Shift P. Uppercase. Transform to uppercase. Okay, let's try something else. Transform to snake case, to title case, to uppercase. Let's try to lowercase. Nice. Okay, now I learned how to do that. Thank you. The Pylon is happy now. Okay. Oh wait, there is something here. Final new line missing. What? Final new line missing. I don't get it. So you're waiting for this? Is this what you're waiting for? That's what he's waiting for. The Pylon is waiting for a final. I guess this is for end of line to be sure that this is the end of the. I guess. So the linter is very picky, for what I can see. The linter is picky. Doesn't matter. I already have it. Okay. Can I? Oh well, this is for just text, but maybe I may like to. Well, I don't know. Can I reset the entire layout? Appearance. Oh wait. Zoom in, zoom out, reset zoom. There we go. Thank you. Okay. What else do I need? Well, the code is really small, but I can modify the size of the text basically with my mouse and control. So I'm not worried about it. Oh wait. Oh, these are the notes. I've been already studying very hard. Let's see. Well, doesn't matter anyway. Let's close this one. Where are you on documents? Okay, so I guess I can just open my terminal here and type in Python 3. Python 3. Where am I? I'm not on the same. Yeah, I'm not on the same folder. So maybe I can just do this. There we go. Home, documents, documentos, and then exercise .py. You need magic powers. Okay, so it's actually working. So, but let's make it more. I guess I can find a folder for this because, oh, never mind. Yeah, because I don't really like. Wait, I already on GitHub, but do we have a Git? Let's just a good old Git folder. cd Git. There is nothing here. Let's call it Python 2022, and let's call it actually Python learn to code. Python learn. I wonder if this is not going to be confusing. Learn to code 2022. Should probably separate all the words with dashes, since I already there. Why not? Python learn to code 2022. There we go. And here I'm going to init. There we go. There is nothing here. And get. But I'm going to insert something here. Git ignore.io. You know the basics. Windows. I'm going to ignore Windows. Linux. Mac OS. I'm going to ignore anything regarding what can I, oh, Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, whatever, anything regarding Visual Studio Code. Is there something about Python? There are Python things. Okay, let's create this and let's save it as. Let's save this as Git Python learn to code. You're going to be my what? My dot git ignore file. There we go. There we go. There is the git ignore. That file, well, I guess I should just close this folder and look for, let's open a new folder, and this folder is going to be git Python. There we go. And here is the git ignore. All of these files and folders are going to be ignored for whatever I put in here. And this is my my go-to thing to do with new Git repositories, because well, you know, oh, and looks like we already have our first change. And dot git ignore. Dang. There we go. I'm not going to publish this branch just yet because that's going to take some time more. So what I may like to do now is to basically continue with this. Pycharm, let's see, sell it to me.
Welcome back. Up until now, we've talked about Sublime Text and Visual Studio Code. Code editors that we had to install a bunch of plugins and extensions in order to customize
not
it
so many.
And they work really well with a ton of different programming languages. The next one, though, is an IDE, and it's called Pycharm. And it's probably the most popular tool for Python developers. So I really, really like it. But it's an IDE. That is, unlike a code editor, it already comes pre-built with a lot of things. This company, JetBrains, makes it, and they focus purely on Python developers. So that is, if you're a Python developer, they really focus and make sure that all the tools you need to succeed are in here. Now, when you click on Download Now, you have two versions. The professional one, which you have to pay for, and the community one. So just download the community one. The professional one just comes with a few extra features that we don't really need. So download the community one. Just a heads up, it's a lot bigger. It's 350 megabytes. So again, it comes with a lot of tools for us to use. So it is a little bit heavier than Visual Studio Code or Sublime Text. But if you're a Python developer and you just want an environment where you can do everything in one place, Pycharm is the way to go. Now let's fast forward through this so that we're not waiting around for the download. Whew. All right, that was a long pause for me, but for you, with some editing, this should have been quick. All right, if I open this up now, again, if you're on Windows or if you're on Mac, installation process will be different. In our case, because we are on a Mac, I just drag this to application. With Windows, you'll probably go through an installer. All right, it's all installed. Now, if I double click,
Linux, you're on your own.
For me. And we'll just make sure we allow it. Now, in my case, I had already a previous version of Pycharm that I've been using. And you might want to import your previous setting. But in our case, we've never used Pycharm before. And also, most likely you want a fresh install. So even if you get this type of pop-up, you can just click on Do Not Import Settings so you get a fresh slate.
Okay.
We're going to click OK. And there we have it. And right away, you can see that, well, it gives us a lot of options. Let's just say I've never used Pycharm before. And next, we get to choose our UI. Do we want Dracula, which is dark, or do we want light? Let's go with dark for now. So I'm going to skip the remaining and set defaults.
Okay, perfect.
So in Pycharm now, we can create a new project. Now in here, it asks us where we want to create our project. In my case, we can just leave it over here. We'll call it My Project. And before we click Create, make sure that you click on this project interpreter and double check that our base interpreter is using Python 3.
Okay.
Remember, if you're on a Mac or Linux, you might have Python 2 already installed. In our case, we installed our Python version 3.7 right here. So we make sure that this latest version of Python is being used as the interpreter.
10.
Now we can just click Create.
So this is several versions behind.
We can close these tips. Every once in a while, you get tip of the day. Because this is an IDE, you get a lot of features that you can read about online. So it might take you a while to get used to Pycharm, but it is a very powerful tool.
Okay.
Let's make this a little bit bigger. Now, with my project here, I can right-click.
Looks very similar to VS Code.
We'll just call it hi.py. Click OK. And there we go. We have our first file opened up. And we can just, once again, say print. Now, this is definitely way too small. So I'm going to go to Pycharm Preferences. And here, it gives you
pre-built folders there.
Pycharm to your liking. In my case, I want to make sure that I use, let's say, a custom font, but definitely increase the size to, let's go with 18.
Okay.
Apply. That's better. You know what? I want even bigger. Let's do 20. I'm going to hit OK. All right, this side is now bigger. That's great. We can see it, but this is still tiny. I want this a little bit bigger, so let's fix that as well. We can fix this easily by pressing Command and then using the mouse wheel if you have a mouse, or using 2 fingers and zooming in, like so. If you're on a Windows machine, it'll be Control instead of Command, and just zooming in and out as you like.
Yeah, I know.
Now, the interesting thing here with Pycharm,
no, it's pretty much the same.
That we might not be familiar with right now, but the key thing is that Python 3.7 is running our project, and if we type something like print, hey, we get a ton of interesting things. First, we get a typo saying, hey, this whole hey is not an English word. If I add spaces, look at that. It even gives me typos of English words. But then I also have this yellow curly
I guess.
or squiggly line. And it tells me Pip 8.
No new line at the end of the file. I got that one.
When we talk about formatting our code. But if I add a new line, look at that. Everything is running smoothly. I get a nice little check mark. Now I can run this code by going to Run and then clicking Run. And you can see the shortcut command here as well. If I run this, ask me, hey, what do you want to run? Well, I want to run the new hi Python file. I click on this and look at that. Let's make this a little bit bigger. That's better. We see that our file is being run. The process finished with exit code 0. 0 is a good sign. It means there were no errors and everything is great.
Okay.
Now, if we make an error here, and let's say I miss my brackets, and I hit run, or I can just click on run here.
Yeah, it's going to
It
stop.
gives me an error saying, hey, syntax error. Unexpected EOF while parsing, and tells you something went wrong. So once again, I can fix it, run my code, and everything is good. There are a lot of features here that you can explore on your own, get comfortable with it. Pycharm is definitely a great IDE. And the beauty is that unlike Sublime Text or Visual Studio Code, where we have to install all these packages, Pycharm comes with everything built in. It's an IDE. We don't have to install any of these packages. This environment is already set up for us to work professionally with Python because it is made for Python developers. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Well, I guess, but in my case at least, I already had Visual Studio Code. It's really great. And looks like Pycharm looks pretty much the same as Visual Studio Code. And well, I think that's a good thing actually. And the advantage of Visual Studio Code is precisely the fact that you can add extensions to it, not just for Python, but for many other languages. One of my favorites is this one here. It's called Git Lens, Git Supercharge, which basically gives you Git with superpowers. So there is no longer an excuse to just not use Git while working on anything, unless you're doing examples or exercises. But other than that, even for exercises, if you're doing exercises for a course, you may actually like to have them on your Git repo, I guess. For example, here. So this is the folder I am working on. There is nothing here apparently, but if I do a list with show me all files, I'm going to see Git ignore there. I can even show the log, and there is my first commit, and it just reads add git ignore to the repo, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to publish that at the end of the day, I guess. And talking about it is 6. Well, let's see how much can I stay up. What's the next thing? Code formatting, PAP. That's new for me.
Formatting.
I don't know what that is.
A very important tool that comes with a lot of IDEs, and you can also add extensions to code editors like Visual Studio Code to format code. Now, in order for us to talk about that, we have to talk about Python PEP. And if you Google Python PEP, you'll get something like this. PEP stands for Python Enhancement Proposals. These are proposals that the community, the Python developer community, gives in order for us to have a standardized way to write code. And one of the more popular ones, if you scroll down, is what we call the PEP 8. You can see that there's a lot of PEP numbers. Well, PEP 8 is the most popular one, and it's a style guide for Python code. It tells us this is what good, clean Python code should look like. But luckily for you, you don't have to click through here and read every single thing. I mean, it is a lot. Code editors and IDEs help us with this. Let's have a look. I have a piece of code here in my hello.py file. I mean, it doesn't look that bad, but how do we know for formatting the code according to PEP 8? Well, very easily. We can run our command palette, or we can use a shortcut here, Command-Shift-P, or Control-Shift-P if you're on Windows. And then if we type in format, document, and click here, we'll get, hey, formatter, AutoPEP8 is not installed. You want to install it. AutoPEP8 is a popular package with VS Code or extension that gives us the PEP8 format. So let's install this. Now, let's once again run the format
document.
And did you see that? Our code changed quite a bit. We have some spaces, some formatting that went on, and it did that automatically because of PEP8. As soon as I change something, let's add some spaces here, like that, make our code just formatted really strange.
Well,
I click save, and let's once again, Command-Shift-V, format document. Now let's save this, and here, PEP8 formatting style was added. For example, with PEP8, it recommends that when you write functions that you have 2 spaces following it. So 2 spaces after every function.
And what about the expressions?
Document, you see that a space is added because of our AutoPEP8 package. Very, very cool. And you can also set this up so it does this automatically on save. I'll leave that one to you to customize your editor in the way that you want. Now, if we go to Pycharm, Pycharm, well, again, we have the same code over here. It already has this installed for us. As a matter of fact, you can see the underline here and it says PEP8. Hey, I expected 2 blank lines after class or function definition. So it actually tells you that, all right, this is not good according to PEP8. Or maybe we can add extra spaces here. And right away, look at that. Multiple spaces after keyword. We don't want that. Now, all we have to do here is simply go to code and reformat code. And you can also see the shortcut. If I do this, look at that. The code was reformatted, was a little smaller, and everything seems to be working. And I also get a little error. This is not PEP8. Again, it's another suggestion by the editor telling me that you've created a new function sum, but sum actually exists in Python. So you're almost overwriting this.
Yeah.
A really, really neat feature of Pycharm. And you know what? Just because we have a little bit of time, just to show you how you can use VS Code to just save or format on save, I can simply go to Preferences, Settings, and type in Format. And if I scroll to Format on Save, I can click on that. You can see that changes have been automatically implemented. So now every time I do Command S and save, look at that. It formats it for me.
Nice.
So that we can make sure that we write clean Python code according.
Okay, let's try that. Let's try that actually. Oh wait, I don't have anything. Let's try a new file. you're going to, let's define function one with a path. Let's make this a little bigger. There we go. So you can actually see what I'm doing here. Function do another path. Now let's call function one. Let's call print function two maybe, and let's save it as format code Pip 8. There we go. So if I go here, view command palette, format document. Okay, auto Pip 8. Okay, yes, install it. There is no Pip installer available in the selected environment. Search for help. Okay. Well, that didn't work. Okay, so what now? Okay, but where is Pip 8? There is Pip. It didn't work here. Maybe it's here. Let's try again. Format document is the formatter. Auto Pip 8 is not installed. Okay, let's see. Auto Pip 8. Okay, I wonder. Formatter auto Pip 8. It doesn't exist here. There is one here. It doesn't have a publisher has been verified. A strong IO. Okay. It's in beta, but this one here is better qualified, I think. How to use in the command palette. Okay. But what happened to auto Pip 8? I don't have Pip installed, so it's going to do something else. And I going to need Pip Installer, a tool that I don't really have. So that's why they are trying to tell me here. Okay, let's see. For Python 3 pip. Okay, let's try this. So I guess it's a tool that I don't really have. Nevertheless, I can just do this and have it installed. Whoa, that's a lot of packages. Okay, whatever is necessary, I guess. I hope I'm not messing up with my system. I hope. Format and sort imports and save. No, I don't want to store stuff that is going to be just existing there without use. Okay, so well, let's try. Let's try again. Format document. Let's try to install the extension. And looks like now that I had pip installed, I see a couple of warnings, which is not on pad. Okay. No warn script. Okay, so local bin is not on the pad. I know what that means actually because I watch another a Linux bash course about it. But it seems like it's working now. So I don't think it's going to be such a big issue. Return, I don't know, hello maybe. Let's try this. I guess he chose preferences, format on save, format a file on save, must be available, must not be saved after delay, and the editor must not be shutting down. Okay, I just click on that one. There we go. So if I do this and save, there we go, it's auto formatting the thing. Okay, perfect. I already had one file. I don't think it's going to be a good idea to have that one there. But anyway, let's just keep playing around. But I already, now I already coding on my local machine and running on local machine. So that's great. Okay, what else do we have? Quick note on Jupyter Notebooks. Heads up, the next video covers the topic of Jupyter Notebooks. It's a tool we don't use until the very last section of the course when we cover data science and machine learning. Actually, that's one of the applications that I want to use Python for, data science and machine learning, because of my job, obviously. I am a data engineer. Okay, if you want, you can skip the next video and come back to it when we start the final section. I have added a note in that section to remind you. Okay, thank you. Well, it's 12 minutes. It's going to be 6 minutes, 7 minutes considering the next section. So let's just watch it. Why not?
Let's talk about the very last one, the Jupyter Notebooks. Now, this one is really, really interesting. And it's very popular with data scientists and machine learning people because, well, let me show you instead of explaining it.
Okay.
In order for us to use Jupyter Notebooks, we can actually go to anaconda.com. No, this isn't a snake website. This is a distribution, a platform that allows us to download a ton of tools that Python engineers use. And like I said before, a lot of data scientists, a lot of people who are working with machine learning would download Anaconda because it comes with all these tools that we need to be productive instead of downloading them one by one. And here's the thing. You can actually just download Python with Anaconda. So if we didn't go to python.org initially and just went to Anaconda and clicked download, well, that was going to install Python for us as well. But I wanted us to go through the official way of downloading it instead of Anaconda because we want to understand how things work. So in here, all we have to do is click download and you'll be able to download the Anaconda distribution. And you can see that it's the most popular Python in our data science platform. And you can see that when you download Anaconda, it comes with a lot of things that we're going to use throughout the course, such as Jupyter Notebooks. It comes with different plugins like NumPy or Bokeh or Pandas or even TensorFlow. A lot of things that data science.
I'm using Pandas.
Now, if you scroll down.
Well, I'm going to use Pandas.
So you can download based on your version. So if you're on a Windows, you might have to click Windows and make sure you download version 3.7 or higher, and based on whatever computer you have. Most of you will probably have 64-bit. That's something dependent on your machine. If you're on Linux, again, you'll have different options as well. Now, you can
you're on your own.
You can click on documentation.
You had Linux, you're on your own.
Here we'll have a step-by-step
oh my God.
to install Anaconda. Now I want to give you a warning, you don't have to do this optional number 2 step, which is to verify data integrity. This is something that you do for security reasons to make sure that you're downloading the right package. So that is completely optional. You can skip it over and you can walk through the steps to make sure that you install it properly. Now, one of the things that you'll get is this option, especially on Windows, to add Anaconda to my path environment variable. I recommend, and they do as well, to not click here. Because remember, we've installed Python initially already. So by clicking that and adding it to the path, it's going to conflict with an older version of Python that you may have installed a couple of lessons ago.
Oh, okay.
Make sure you follow this guide, and you see that Anaconda recently announced that they're going to include Pycharm for Anaconda as well. So again, if in the previous video, you've already downloaded Pycharm, you can skip over this step as well. So that's the thing with Windows. With Mac, again, it's very self-explanatory. You just click through the process, install, and everything will be done for you. And if you're on a Linux machine, you will have to use your terminal and essentially have to run this command that
you're on your own.
Anaconda. And remember, we want to use Anaconda 3 because we want to use Python version 3.
Yeah.
Now, once you have installed Anaconda, I'm going to give you a warning. It's a pretty big distribution. It is quite big. So if your computer doesn't have enough memory, doesn't have enough storage, there is another option, which is Miniconda, which is a smaller version of Anaconda that doesn't come with all these packages. And most likely in this course, you can get away with just running Miniconda as an option. Now, let's say you've installed Anaconda.
What does it do?
Right here. All you need to do is simply click on it, and it's going to launch Anaconda for you. Now, it might take a little while just to get everything set up, but once it's on, look at that. You have the Anaconda Navigator, and you have a few things here that you might recognize, such as VS Code. You can actually install it here.
What?
You can use things like Spider, another IDE like Pycharm. You can also have things like RStudio if you want to get into R programming and really focus on data science. But the one we're really interested in is the Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebooks are extremely popular notebooks that if you're doing any sort of data science or machine learning with Python, you're for sure using. I love them, and you'll see why in just a second. Now, you might have to install this if it wasn't installed, but otherwise, once installed, you can just click on launch, and let's see what happens. Did you see that?
Okay.
It opened up my browser, my default browser, and it took me to localhost 8888. Now, if this doesn't happen for you automatically, you might have to just type in manually into the browser localhost 8888.
Yeah, but why though?
This for me, which right now, if we look at it, we're in our desktop. I can open my Python files if I want to. If I click on them, look at that. I get my Python files that I can edit and type things into. But this isn't really why we want to use Jupyter Notebooks. Instead, we want to create a new Jupyter Notebook. We're going to click on New and make sure that we select Python 3. Once I click on Python 3, we get a new Jupyter Notebook. And this notebook, which is untitled, we can just name it My First Notebook. I'm going to rename and check this out. If I go to my desktop, I have some folders here. I have a hidden folder, which is the checkpoints folder, which is Jupyter Notebooks, keeping track of my files. And then I also have my first notebook.pyynb. This stands for IPython notebooks, which is what Jupyter Notebooks used to be called. As you notice, they are not .py Python files. There's a special type of file, the IPython notebook file, which can be opened with Jupyter Notebooks. Now, the reason we have a browser here is that Jupyter Notebooks needs a GUI, or graphical user interface, for us to write this. It's not a code editor where we have the code editor screens. Instead, it's using the browser to allow us to run this program. Even though it's using the browser, though, you're able to run this offline. So if you're on an airplane, you can still run your Jupyter Notebooks and practice coding. Now, the way Jupyter Notebook works is using these cells. So these cells I can print, or I can write different code in Python. So if I do this, I can click run, and look at that, right away it gives me the output.
Yeah, but
where I can say, let's say 4 plus 5. If I run this, look at that, I run a different cell with a different output. Now, instead of us always constantly running run, we can also just use the shortcut shift and enter to actually run the code. So let's say, for example, we're doing is 5 greater than 4. I can run shift enter, and it gives me the answer right away. Now, the beauty here is that it's almost like creating notes for yourself, right? I'm able to run different cells, see different outputs, get immediate response to my code instead of in a code editor or an IDE where I have to write everything in one file and everything ran at once. And as we get into science and data visualization, we'll actually see that we use Jupyter Notebooks because they're so easy to visualize these results. Now, one other thing with Jupyter Notebooks that is really, really nice is this idea of the notebook, where instead of just always having code, which you can see over here, if I click on the drop-down menu and click Markdown, I can now type text like, this is my first Python or Jupyter Notebook. And I can write different sort of notes here. And once done, I can do Shift-Enter, and look at that. I have my notes in this book. So that maybe as you're learning for the rest of the course, you can have different Jupyter Notebooks to take notes, run code, verify it, and, well, be extremely organized. And you can even post these on GitHub and share them with other community members. And all we have to do now is, well, it automatically saves. So you can see over here that anytime we open Jupyter Notebooks, let's actually do that. I'm going to close this, close this as well. Yes, let's quit. I'm going to open Jupyter Notebooks one more time by clicking on Anaconda. It's initializing, takes a bit of time, but eventually I can launch my Jupyter Notebook.
Yeah,
but open up my Jupyter Notebook on localhost. You'll see over here that the local host has changed to 8889.
Yeah, it's on the web.
Happen if, for
the local web.
Host 888
local
is already
host,
taken.
yeah.
But if I click here on the Jupyter Notebook, remember the IPython notebook, I go back to my Jupyter Notebook with all my text, all my files. How cool is that? And by the way, going back to this local host, the reason that this is actually still taken is, well, if you look over here, I have 2 terminal windows because I technically didn't close the session or the server from last time. So because I did that, Anaconda automatically said, oh yeah, localhost 8888 is already taken, so let's just increase the number to 8889.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you close these once you are done.
But, okay, I guess.
It tells me connection failed because we've stopped the server. It no longer works. So if I type something here, you see that I get a star and it's not doing anything. If I do 4 plus 5, again, it's not running because the server is no longer running.
Oh, okay.
Right, let's take a break and I'll see you in the next one.
I still fail to see the application for that.
There we have it. We went over a professional Python developer setup. Now you must be asking yourself, there's so many things I want to do. I want to optimize my code editors, my terminal to have a certain look and feel. I want to have different extensions. There's so many extensions and plugins that you can take.
No, thank you.
The beauty is that what you want and what you like evolves over time. And you'll have to customize your terminal or command prompt to different ways, different color schemes, having different tools available to you. You might prefer the lightness of code editors and keep things simple without having all that weight of something like an IDE, Pycharm, that takes a bit of time to get used to. That's why I personally like Sublime Text. Nice, really lightweight, and whenever I need a plugin or extension, I can install it and just use that. Or you might prefer using Jupyter Notebooks because it's a really great way to stay organized, take notes, and also run your small little code snippets, multiple code snippets in different cells. What you pick is up to you. My job was to show you the tools that are available and the tools that are being used by professional developers. But everybody's different. There's no right way, no right tool that is better than all the rest. So what I recommend is have your terminal or command prompt or PowerShell set up properly to your liking and make sure that you get Jupyter Notebooks. But when it comes to code editors or IDEs, just pick one that you like, maybe even try Spider if you want, and stick with that. Because as you spend more time coding in one environment, you'll get better and better and more used to it. So as a final exercise for this section, pick one of these code editors or IDEs and customize it to your liking. Make it just right. And once you do that, trust me, it's like every time you code, you enter your home with all your favorite tools, furnitures, and things. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Okay, note on upcoming sections. In the upcoming advanced Python sections, I will continue to use the Replit website since it's great for me to demonstrate, demonstrating code. However, since in the previous section you learned about setting up your own developer environment, feel free to choose whichever tool you wish to in order to follow with the code. These next sections can get quite complex, so I recommend you code with me and do all the exercises in order to succeed. Good luck. P.S. I will be using tools like Sublime Text and Jupyter Notebooks in the sections where we start building our 12 plus projects later in the course, so don't worry. Okay.
Everything?
Whoa, what's... Oh, we are a third on the course already. Okay, that's
In the previous video, we learned that...
Whoa. Stop. Oh, okay, so this is what is object-oriented programming. What is object-oriented programming 2? Why not explain it on one video though? I don't know. Creating our own projects. So this is a new section. This is section 6, Advanced Python Object-Oriented Programming. So we are away from, we jump straight into advanced Python from, we didn't encounter a middle. I guess basics 2 will count as Python basics 2, will count as a middle Python intermediate. Instead of Python basics 2, this could have been a Python intermediate. Let's see, advanced Python object-oriented programming. Okay, what's open-oriented programming? Basically, classes, objects, inheritance, you know, the usual. Let's see, what's this init? Attributes and methods. Attributes and methods, which are basically variables that belong to objects and functions that belong to objects and classes. Init, I don't know what that is. Cats everywhere, an exercise. Class method and static method. This seems to be decorators maybe. Reviewing what we know so far, okay? Developer fundamentals 5. Wow. Encapsulation. There we go. We are getting into the philosophy and theory of the open-oriented programming philosophy. Encapsulation, abstraction, private versus public variables, inheritance 2, polymorphism, exercise, pets everywhere, super, object introspection, Dunder methods. I don't know what Dunder methods are actually. Extending lists, inheritance, again, multiple inheritance. Oh my god, why? Python has multiple inheritance? Why, bro? I don't get it. Method resolution order. This is method multiple inheritance is going to be messy. It always is. That's why some like Java doesn't use it. But never mind. Method resolution order. Oh, because of this stack, if you are calling methods that themselves call other methods, then they go into the stack. I guess this is the method resolution order. And after that, we are going to be watching at section 7, Advanced Python Functional Programming. What that is? Functional programming. So I guess Python is organizing object-oriented programming differently from functional programming. I wonder if I can mix the two. I don't know. Maybe. I guess so, because if you are having functional programming and object-oriented programming on the same programming language, then I guess you can actually mix them both. Let's see what's here. Functional programming, pure functions, map, filter, zip, reduce, exercises, land expressions, which are basically anonymous functions, exercise land expressions, list comprehension, sets, and dictionary comprehensions. We still have more to go. Okay. Decorators, High order function, decorators 2, decorators 3. Why do we need decorators? Okay. Section 9, advanced Python error handling. This is going to be, surprisingly, it's a very short section. Okay. Error handling, very important. Advanced Python generators. Oh my God, I don't even know what that is. Modules in Python. Well, I do have an idea what a module is. Basically packages in many other programming languages. Libraries, maybe. Debugging in Python. Wow, just a single video for this section. Okay. File input output. Wow, this is going to take me around half course until I learn how to write text into a file. Working with files in Python, read, write, append, file paths, file IO errors, exercise translator. Okay. I guess that this guy is just working with text files. I don't see binary files being mentioned here. Regular expressions. I guess in everybody's everybody has one. Regular expressions. Testing in Python. Unit test. Oh, writing test. A bit way too short section for something so complex. That may become complex actually. So I guess it's going to be like an overview. Career of a Python developer. Career of a Python developer. Python careers. Endorsements on LinkedIn. Upcoming video. What if I don't have enough experience? It doesn't matter. As long as you have projects, you have experience. What if I don't have enough learning guideline? Now what? Okay. Scraping data with Python, aka let's pirate data from websites and videos. Why not? Let's build our YouTube downloaders, everyone. Web scraping introduction, web scraping API. Oh, what? Again? Getting differences on energy here. Okay. What else do we have here? Scraping data, how Google bot works. Hacker News Project, requesting data. Beautiful Suit Basics, Quick Note, Storyline, Title Length, Hacker News Project 2. Hacker News, I guess it's going to be basic data scraping. I wonder how do I connect to databases? Web development with Python. Okay, how websites work. I already more or less know how to do they work. This guy is using Flask, and I do have experience with Flask. Okay, Flask static files, fab icon, tempting. So this is this is pretty much a Flask website. It's the simplest tool to use for web development. So yeah. Automation testing. Okay, section 8. Selenium, I don't know what that is, but I heard about it. I know that it says. I don't know what that is though. Machine learning and data science section overview, and I know nothing about this. Okay. Where to go from, and that's the last actual chapter. Then we have where to go from here. Become an alumni. Thank you. So this is the goodbyes. Extra bits. Whoa, that's a lot. I guess these are Git and command line exercises, maybe coding challenges. Start with why. That's the name of a book.
This is something that we started our course with. The idea that when learning something with our limited time and resource, we need to make sure that we understand the most important concept. Why are we learning this? Why is this worth my time? And why is this something that I should dedicate this time to? Too often we see new things in the developer ecosystem. It is always exciting to be working on the newest and shiniest thing that everybody is talking about. But remember, those libraries and frameworks and configuration files and tools, those things come and go. They're always changing. You can be a master of Webpack one day, and 2 years later, nobody cares because
nobody cares.
The things that stick around are the fundamental computer science topics and software development practices. Sure, these things change over time as well, but they always evolve slowly with why in mind. When learning new things, make sure you understand why the solution was created. What problem?
Okay, this is more like a coaching video rather than something technical. My terminal setup, okay. What else? Appendix, HTML forms. This is more like a HTML course content, I guess. How to create a form, I guess. And a bonus section, bonus lecture. What does it do? If you enjoy this, click here, personalized career path. Okay, yes, let's try it out. Let's unmark that before I forget. There we go. Zero to Mastery, Academy Career Paths. What do we have here? Whatever, you're a complete beginner. Okay, web developer. That's the obvious one. What else? Become a software engineer. What? Well, that's like a little bit very generic for my liking. Become a front-end developer. It's not implied here with the entire becoming a web developer thing here. Front-end developer, well, more specialized, I guess. Back-end developer, I've been working as this for quite 2 years, I believe. I was a back-end developer. 1 year master everything. What does that mean? 26 courses? No, thank you. I just want to get hired. This is my club name. I just want to get hired. A step-by-step roadmap to your best recommendation to get hired fastest amount of time. We provide you with career with learning that is absolutely necessary to get your dream job. Okay. Become a Python developer, 3 courses. Very specific, not so much. Machine learning engineer, data scientist. These are my 2 go-to things. Probably become a data scientist because I already work as a database administrator and developer and senior data engineer. So why not extending on my specialization anyway? This career path includes exact steps to go from absolute beginner to confident data scientist, access for a Discord community that I never get on, projects that will change you and make your portfolio and resume stand out, unlimited access to all courses, workshops, career paths, and resources. 7 courses, wow. That's a lot of hours of my life to invest on. Okay, I already doing this one. Oh, there is one for learning machine and data science, machine learning and data science. So there is a course for that. Apply to 5 jobs. Academy workshops, career advice, Python for business, data analytics, and intelligence. Okay, that's interesting. This is actually oh, there are more. Okay. Whoa, the Excel bootcamp, more like pandas. I'm more interested in pandas. Future yourself. How does this work? 1 hour. Andre, learning to learn, efficient learning. Okay. 5 hours. Okay. Complete SQL databases. Hey, by the way, I didn't see anything regarding that. So I'm quite worried about, because I'm going to end this. I'm going to finish this course, and I'm not going to know how to actually connect to a database. Yeah. Mastering the coding interview. Read the principle for program. Take your next. I guess generic stuff. What I will take. I'm taking this one here. This one here. I will take this one here. It's actually mentioning pandas here, and so that's one thing that I want to know how to work on. And probably this one. Python for business, data analytics, and intelligence. And that's it. Well, that's all I'm going to be watching today. Tomorrow, I'm going to continue learning Python. Probably, well, this is a 2-hour video course. Let's say it's going to take me 3 hours to complete this one. Okay, it's already 1 hour already. Okay. Well, thank you for coming in, and see you tomorrow. Goodbye.